everybody, Simmonstic this here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today, on the way home from work, I stopped at a local Goodwill where I picked myself up 5 VHS tapes, all for 10 cents a piece, so let's take a look at what I got. The first tape I picked up was The Graveyard. Now this I'm not expecting too much from. After reading the synopsis and looking at that photo on the back there of the actual clip of the film, I'm not expecting too much from this. I haven't read any reviews yet. I'm going to have to look those up to see if this actually gets any decent reviews, but not expecting this to be a very good one. But I did just want to pick it up based on the cover art alone. It just intrigued me. Even if this isn't the best movie, the cover art actually makes me really want to see it, and I am kind of interested to find out what the movie's about and actually see if, hopefully, maybe it is good. But like I said, I'm not holding my breath, but still for 10 cents, had to pick it up. Next I picked up Charlie the Lonesome Cougar. As I've said many times before, 1950s, 60s, and 70s Disney, I am a huge fan of. I just love the great feeling of those classic Disney films. They're always a lot of fun. I really get a kick out of them. So for 10 cents, had to grab this one as well. Then I picked up this Walt Disney World Vacation video. Now, oddly enough, and I did pop this one in, I actually have 2 other versions of this same release, but for whatever reason, all 3 versions are different. I have no idea why. They all seem to feature the same, they tell you pretty much the same thing, and they do feature a lot of the same clips, but there are a lot of different clips in all 3 as well. So, not sure why they released 3 of these. I don't really get that. Maybe they released one at the beginning of the year, then the middle of the year, and the end of the year. Again, I'm not really sure, but since I didn't have this one yet, and it is different from the other 2, definitely had to grab it. Next I picked up National Geographic Rainforest. And as I've said many, many times before, I love Nat Geo. Huge fan of their documentaries. They're always so well done, always a great watch. So every time I come across one of their titles, I always have to pick it up. I actually have a very large collection of National Geographic titles within my collection, so definitely had to grab this one since I didn't have it yet, and I cannot wait to check it out. And the last title I picked up was Who's the Man?, starring Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. And apparently this also features Ice-T, Criss Cross, Heavy D, House of Pain, Dennis Leary, Queen Latifah, Run DMC, and Naughty by Nature. This I cannot wait to see. I'm assuming this is going to be super cheeseball, but I'm assuming it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I love the lineup. This is just going to be a great, great watch. And for 10 cents, this was a steal. So that's it for what I bought today. So now it's what I watched. And the first title I checked out today was The Butcher, which was god-awful, horrible. I picked this movie up based on a few things. First off, the cover art. That looks great. There's a man with some kind of cleaver and a chick wearing barely anything. It looks like he's going to hack her to death. The back, the synopsis, sounds really interesting as well. Unfortunately, this never happens. I don't know where they got that from. That scene is not in the movie. The synopsis is technically correct, but they really make the movie seem like something better than it was. The basic premise of the movie is simply this girl who's both deaf and mute. She ends up finding out that these butchers are actually chopping up dead people and, I guess, serving them as meat. You know, you think that sounds interesting, and that's what the synopsis says on the back. And at first I thought, that sounds really cool. That could be interesting. You know, she finds out these butchers are chopping people up, and now the butchers are going to go after her, and it's going to be, you know, really suspenseful and scary, and that sounds pretty interesting. That is about 10% of the movie. The other 90% is all about 2 doctors trying to convince the deaf-mute girl's father that she needs to go to like a school or have some sort of training for her disability so she can learn how to maybe speak or sign language or do something like that. There's also a little subplot of the dad and his love interest, and it just makes no sense. The whole movie, there's nothing happening. It's 90% of this movie is really nothing happening. It's boring. There's silly music playing the entire time. There's some goofy parts where the butcher and his assistant, you know, the assistant's kind of slow and dim-witted, so he does some wacky stuff. And there's a bunch of those scenes. Completely pointless to the entire story. Only the very beginning and the very end really make any sense and really have anything to do with the actual plot of the story. Now, don't get me wrong, the doctor's trying to convince the father to teach the child how to maybe speak. That is part of the plot, but did they need to really spend 90% of the movie trying to, you know, set that up? No, because at the end of the movie, the butcher's assistant finds out that they're going to teach this little girl how to speak, and now they're all concerned because now the girl can speak. She can tell on the butchers and say, hey, they're chopping up dead people. And that's when they kidnap her, and they're going to try to kill her, and within about 5 minutes of them kidnapping her, the butchers end up dead. So there's really no suspense there at all. And the other thing that bothers me is throughout the entire movie, you get the very beginning of the movie where the girl finds the butchers and finds out what they're doing, and then the rest of the movie, the butchers don't care. They don't care the entire movie except for at the very end that this girl knows, because they go, oh, well, she's deaf and mute. She can't say anything to anybody. Who cares? And they spend more or less the entire movie not caring about this girl whatsoever until the very end, maybe about the last 10 minutes of the movie when they find out that she's going to be able to, they're going to teach her how to speak. Now they care. The girl doesn't really, she's not really too upset either. It seems like she kind of saw it and then sort of put it, out of her mind. And every now and then, something will remind her of it. But that happens maybe like twice in the movie. She's barely even reminded of this dead body she saw. So had she been reminded throughout the movie and she's constantly thinking about this body she saw and she was suffering with the image and what is she going to do? She can't tell anybody. That would have been interesting, but we do not get that. So this is a complete waste of a movie. I cannot recommend this one at all. It was extremely, extremely boring. If you come across this one and you think to yourself, wow, that artwork looks really awesome, this is going to be a great maybe slash movie, you read the synopsis, you think it sounds great, suspenseful, really cool, you're wrong. Don't pick this one up. Stay away. It was a mess. And the second title I checked out tonight was Brave. Definitely had to sit down and watch this one, because as I said yesterday, I had been dying to see this. And I thought it was a good movie. I really did enjoy it. Though would I say Disney Pixar good? Unfortunately, no. This felt very much like something by DreamWorks, or could even be Fox or Warner Brothers. It just seemed like a very typical CGI animated movie. Good, a fun story. The animation was beautiful. I really did enjoy it. I would not knock this movie more or less at all. But it was just the fact that it didn't have that Disney Pixar feel. It kind of seems like everything since, I would say, maybe like past WALL-E just hasn't seemed as good. I mean, Ratatouille and stuff, I guess that was okay. Up was pretty good, but again, none of those movies seem to have that Disney Pixar feel, where you get the emotions and just a really strong story. Monsters Inc., Cars, Bugs Life, Toy Story, and all those classic movies, they have a really good story with a lot of emotion, a lot of depth. It's just a very, very well-told story that happens to be a lot of fun all at the same time. Whereas recently, like I said, the Disney Pixar movies just seem to be really good CGI animated movies that are certainly a great watch, and I would certainly recommend, but just don't quite have that feel that the older movies used to, which I have to say is definitely a shame. But with that being said, it still was a great movie. If you like Disney Pixar films, you're going to want to check it out. If you're a fan of CGI animated films, then you're also going to want to check this one out because it was great. It was, again, beautiful animation, and the story was fun. I did think maybe the story, though, could have been a little bit longer. This movie's only an hour and a half. Probably could have been maybe around 2 hours. Just because I felt like everything seemed a bit rushed in this. It just seemed like they spent a lot on the beginning of the movie, and then once the mother's turned into a bear, it seems to go a little bit too quickly. I would have liked to have seen them struggle more with her being a bear, maybe struggling more with them trying to get everything resolved and bring her back to actually being a queen. I would have liked to have seen more of that. Did feel a bit rushed. So the movie could have been maybe 2 hours long, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, just to stretch things out a little bit longer so things didn't seem so rushed. But again, I am nitpicking here. It was a great movie, and one, again, I would definitely recommend if you're into Disney Pixar films or if you're into CGI animated films. It was a great watch. Definitely check it out. So that's it for what I bought when I watched today. Definitely happy about all the VHS tapes I picked up today for only 10 cents. Got some great titles there, and I definitely look forward to checking those out. And unfortunately, watching The Butcher, not very good at all. Very bland, very mediocre. The plot made no sense. It was just very flat. 90% of the movie, there was really nothing going on, nothing that really warranted even watching the film. It was only the very beginning and the very end of the movie that actually kind of worked. Unfortunately, the rest of it was just complete garbage. And I had to say, just stay far, far away from that movie. Do not watch it. You don't need to see it. But Brave, on the other hand, was a good movie. Really did enjoy it. Thought it was very well done, beautifully animated. I really liked it. I just, like I said, unfortunately, didn't think it quite lived up to the standards of Disney Pixar, which, you know, maybe I'm giving them, you know, maybe I'm just holding them on such a high pedestal. They can only do so much. I guess I can't expect every single movie Disney Pixar does to be just perfect and brilliant and 100% the best CGI anime movie I've ever seen. But it's just the fact that they had such a good track record in the beginning that I do think they could maybe do a little bit better. Maybe they could have spent a little bit more time in the movie developing it a little bit more to make it have that great kind of Disney Pixar feel, but I don't know. Regardless though, it was a good movie. I really did enjoy it. And again, if you are a fan of CGI animated films or Disney Pixar films, it is certainly one to pick up and check out. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to see what I bought when I watch tomorrow. See ya.